Listen carefully, because what you are about to hear goes against almost everything you've been told about belly fat. And once you understand this, the struggle finally starts to make sense. Belly fat is not a sign of laziness, weak willpower, or lack of effort. It is not proof that you don't care enough or that you're doing life wrong. Millions of people wake up early, skip meals, count calories, walk miles, do workouts they hate, and still watch their belly refuse to change. That failure is not random. It is not bad luck. It is the result of following advice that sounds logical but ignores how the body truly works. Belly fat is different from fat on your arms or legs. It behaves differently. It responds to different signals, and most weight loss plans never talk about this part. In this video, you are going to learn why belly fat is so stubborn, why doing more effort often makes it worse, and why the body keeps storing fat in one specific place even when the scale goes down. You will learn what is really happening inside your body, beyond calories, beyond exercise, and beyond motivation. This is not another list of tricks or shortcuts. No magic foods, no extreme rules, no hype. This is clarity. This is understanding. Because once you understand the real cause, the solution stops feeling confusing and starts feeling natural. One of the lesser known truths is that belly fat is closely linked to survival signals in the body. When your body feels threatened, stressed, overworked, or constantly deprived, it chooses to protect itself, and the belly becomes its safest storage place. This is why people who eat less often see their belly hold on tighter. This is why people who exercise harder sometimes notice no change at all around their waist. The body is not stubborn, it is responsive. It listens to hormones, not motivation. It reacts to signals, not effort. Another fact most people never hear is that belly fat is active tissue. It sends signals. It reacts to stress hormones. It reacts to blood sugar swings. It reacts to sleep loss. It reacts to constant eating. And when those signals are wrong, fat loss shuts down, no matter how clean the diet looks on paper. In this video, you will learn how modern habits quietly push the body into fat storage mode all day long, even when calories seem controlled. You will learn why doing everything right can still lead to failure, and why that failure is not your fault. There is a reason some people lose weight everywhere except their belly. The waistline is often the last place to change. There is also why once the right signals are fixed, belly fat can finally start to drop without extreme effort. By the end of this video, you will understand why chasing calorie numbers alone keeps people stuck for years, why stress and sleep matter more than most diets admit, and why timing, not just food choice, plays a powerful role in fat loss. You will also learn what actually helps the body feel safe enough to let go of stored fat instead of fighting against it every step of the way. This is not about punishment. This is about alignment. When the body feels balanced, fat loss becomes a side effect, not a battle. Stay until the end, because the final part connects everything together and explains the single mindset shift that changes how you approach belly fat forever. Missing that piece is why most people start strong and quit confused. If your goal is real results that last, not temporary changes that bounce back, this video will give you the foundation you've been missing. Welcome to the channel, where we break down health with honesty and simplicity. If you want clear explanations instead of noise, make sure to subscribe now and stay with us, because this is where real understanding begins. The biggest lie about belly fat sounds simple, almost comforting, and that is exactly why it traps people for years. The lie says belly fat is there because you eat too much and move too little. It says the solution is to eat less food and do more exercises, especially crunches and ab workouts. This idea feels logical, so people follow it without question. They cut portions, they skip meals, they burn themselves out in the gym. They lie on the floor doing hundreds of crunches hoping sweat will melt fat from their stomach. But weeks pass, then months, and the belly stays. Sometimes it even grows. This creates frustration and self-blame. People think they are failing when in reality the advice itself is failing them. Belly fat does not behave like fat on your arms, face, or legs. You can lose weight from many parts of your body while your waist barely changes. That alone should tell you something is different. Belly fat is not just stored energy, it is biologically active. It reacts to internal signals. It listens to hormones more than calories. Treating it like regular fat keeps people stuck in a loop of effort without reward. Crunches strengthen muscles, not fat loss. Eating less without understanding timing and food quality can increase stress inside the body, and stress is one of the strongest signals for storing fat around the belly. This false belief trains people to fight their body instead of understanding it. Belly fat is stubborn because it is deeply connected to survival mechanisms that evolved long before modern diets existed. The body stores fat around the organs to protect them. When the body senses danger, it chooses the belly as a safe place to store energy. That danger does not have to be physical. It can be emotional stress, poor sleep, extreme dieting, or constant pressure to perform. Stress hormones play a massive role here. One of the most important is cortisol. Cortisol rises when the body feels under threat. Long work hours, financial worry, lack of sleep, overtraining, and even constant calorie restriction all increase cortisol. High cortisol sends a clear message to the body to store fat, especially around the abdomen. This is why people under chronic stress often gain belly fat even when they are not eating more food. Insulin is another major player. Insulin decides whether the body stores energy or releases it. When insulin is high, fat burning is turned off. The body is in storage mode. Belly fat is especially sensitive to insulin signals. Foods that spike blood sugar quickly cause insulin to rise fast. When this happens many times a day, the body spends most of its time storing fat. Poor sleep makes this even worse. Lack of sleep increases hunger hormones, reduces fullness signals, raises cortisol, and makes insulin less effective. The body becomes confused and defensive. Constant snacking adds to the problem. Every time you eat, insulin rises. When eating happens from morning to night, insulin stays elevated all day. The body never gets a chance to access stored fat. Over time, the belly becomes the main storage area because it responds fastest to these signals. Calories alone cannot explain this behavior, and this is where many people get lost. Two people can eat the same number of calories and see completely different results. One person loses belly fat, while the other sees no change or even gains around the waist. If calories were the full story, this would not happen. The difference lies in hormones and internal signals. Hormones act like traffic lights. They decide where energy goes. Calories are just the fuel. Without understanding the signals, counting fuel alone leads to confusion. Around the waist, hormones have even more influence. The belly area has more receptors for stress hormones and insulin compared to other areas of the body. This makes it the first place to store fat and the last place to let it go. Someone eating the same calories but sleeping poorly, feeling stressed, and eating frequently will store more belly fat than someone with stable blood sugar, good sleep, and lower stress. This is why calorie restriction often backfires. Eating too little raises stress hormones. The body senses scarcity. Fat loss slows down. The scale might drop due to water loss or muscle loss, but belly fat remains. People then reduce calories even more, making the problem worse. Biology does not care about math. It responds to patterns, rhythms, and signals. Insulin sits at the center of this process. Insulin is not evil. It is necessary for life. But when insulin is constantly high, fat loss becomes almost impossible. Insulin's main job is to move sugar from the blood into cells. When insulin is elevated, the body is told to store energy. Fat cells receive this message clearly. High insulin locks fat inside fat cells and blocks its release. This lock is strongest in the belly area. Sugar and refined carbohydrates spike insulin quickly. White bread, sweets, sugary drinks, and processed foods cause sharp rises in blood sugar, followed by insulin spikes. When this happens multiple times a day, the body stays in storage mode. Constant eating keeps insulin high from morning until night. Even healthy snacks can contribute if eating never stops. The body needs periods of low insulin to burn fat. Without those periods, stored fat stays stored. Over time, cells become less responsive to insulin, leading to even higher insulin levels to do the same job. This creates a cycle where the body stores more fat while burning less. Belly fat thrives in this environment. It grows quietly even when calorie intake seems controlled. This is why focusing only on calories misses the real driver of belly fat. The issue is not how much food enters the body, but how the body is being signaled to use or store that food. Understanding this shifts the entire approach to fat loss from punishment to strategy, from effort to alignment, and from confusion to clarity. Exercise is healthy and valuable, but it is not the magic key people think it is when it comes to belly fat, and understanding this removes a huge amount of guilt and confusion. Many people believe that if they just move more, sweat harder, and push their bodies further, belly fat will eventually disappear. So they run longer, train harder, and punish themselves with intense workouts, yet their waistline barely changes. The reason is simple but rarely explained. Exercise cannot outrun bad hormonal signals. If insulin stays high and stress hormones stay elevated, the body remains in fat storage mode no matter how many calories are burned. Intense workouts place stress on the body. This stress is not always bad, but when combined with poor sleep, poor nutrition, and constant calorie restriction, it adds to the problem. The body reads this as pressure, not progress. Cortisol rises, recovery drops, hunger increases, fat loss slows down. In some cases, belly fat increases even when overall weight drops. This is why people often look leaner in their arms and legs, but softer around the waist. Exercise builds strength and improves health, but it cannot fix a hormonal environment that is telling the body to hold on to fat. When workouts become exhausting instead of energizing, they stop working for fat loss. This is not a failure of effort. It is a mismatch between stress and recovery. Understanding this frees people from the belief that they must suffer more to see results. What actually works for belly fat loss feels calmer and more sustainable than most people expect. The first step is lowering insulin naturally, not by force, but by changing daily patterns. This starts with food quality. Real, whole foods send different signals to the body than processed foods. Protein helps stabilize blood sugar and reduces cravings. Fiber slows digestion and keeps insulin lower for longer periods. Together, they make meals more satisfying without excess calories. Reducing sugar and liquid calories removes the fastest drivers of insulin spikes. Sugary drinks and juices bypass fullness signals and flood the bloodstream with sugar, forcing insulin to rise quickly. Removing them alone often leads to noticeable changes around the waist. Giving the body breaks from eating is another powerful shift. When eating happens non-stop, insulin never drops. When meals are spaced out, insulin has time to fall, allowing fat burning to turn on. This does not require extreme rules or perfection. It requires consistency and awareness. The body responds quickly when signals improve. Hunger becomes more manageable, energy stabilizes, belly fat slowly starts to loosen its grip. Eating windows and lifestyle habits add another layer that supports long-term change. The body needs time without food to access stored fat. Constant eating blocks this process. Even healthy foods can prevent fat burning if eaten too often. Creating clear eating periods allows the body to switch between storage and burning. Sleep plays a bigger role than most people realize. Good sleep improves insulin sensitivity, lowers cortisol and supports hormones that regulate appetite. Poor sleep does the opposite. One bad night can increase hunger, cravings, and stress the next day. Over time, this pattern drives belly fat gain. Stress management is just as important. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated, signaling the body to store fat for protection. Simple changes like slowing down meals, breathing deeply, and reducing constant pressure help calm this signal. These changes may seem small, but their impact compounds over time. Belly fat responds to calm, not chaos. Many people unknowingly block their own progress with common mistakes that repeat week after week. One of the most damaging is starving during the day and binging at night. Skipping meals raises stress hormones and lowers blood sugar. By evening, hunger feels uncontrollable. Large meals at night spike insulin when the body is least active, encouraging fat storage around the waist. Another mistake is obsessing over the scale. The scale reflects water, food weight, and muscle, not just fat. Belly fat changes slowly and unevenly. Watching the scale daily creates frustration and impatience. Expecting fast results is another trap. Belly fat is often the last place to change because it is tied to survival signals. When people expect quick results and do not see them, they abandon the process. This leads to cycles of starting and stopping, each time increasing stress and confusion. Sustainable belly fat loss requires trust in the process and focus on signals, not speed. When habits support hormonal balance, progress continues quietly even when it is not immediately visible. Belly fat is not a personal failure, and it was never proof that you lack discipline or effort. Your body has been doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect you when it senses stress, imbalance, or constant pressure. When the signals are wrong, the body holds on. When the signals improve, it lets go. This changes everything. Fat loss is not about punishment. It is not about forcing the scale down or fighting hunger every day. It is about understanding what your body is responding to and working with it instead of against it. Once the signals are fixed, fat loss stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling natural. The belly is not stubborn out of spite. It is cautious by design. When your body feels safe, rested, and balanced, it no longer needs to store extra protection around your waist. If this way of thinking feels different from what you've heard before, that's a good sign. Real change begins with clarity, not confusion. So here's the question I want you to think about and answer in the comments. Which signal do you think has been holding your body back the most? Stress, sleep, food timing, or sugar? Your answer might help someone else realize they're not alone. If you found value in this video and want more honest, clear explanations about health and fat loss, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like the video so more people can see it, and share it with someone who has been struggling with belly fat and blaming themselves for too long. This channel is about understanding your body, not fighting it, and if that's the approach you want, you're in the right place.